I have never had such a shock since draft bitter went up 8 a pint. But I'll tell you what happened. I arrived at the Goat and Compasses. It opened at 6. As I got there, nearly 10 past. I'd been held up by the traffic. The door opens. Out comes Charlie Hollindale running like mad. I said, what's wrong? Is the place on fire? 'Cause I've never known him leave as early as that, you know. He said, you know the new club down the road, that 4-storey building? They're opening tonight, and from 6 till 7, all the beer you can drink for nothing. Well, I apologised to this bloke who we knocked over, running over the road. Well, we fight our way through to the bar. There's me, Harry, Charlie Hollindale, and we're drinking like mad, you know, obviously, to encourage the bloke and make him think the place was going to be a success. And at 7 o'clock, the barman, who I took an instant dislike to, leant across and he says to me, he said, the fella there with the red tie that's halfway round the back of his neck, who's lying on the floor with his head on the brass rail, he said, is he a mate of yours? I said, yes. He says, well, if I was you, he's going to get trod on in here. He says, take him up the games room. There won't be as many in there. I said, where is it? He says, it's on the 3rd floor. So me and Harry put Charlie in this lift. He gets out on the 3rd floor. He sees a waiter going past. He says, waiter, it's very cramped in that lift you've got over there. The waiter said, yes, sir. Well, normally that one only holds 2 plates of soup and a teapot. Well, we get into the games room and they got everything. I said to Charlie, come on, we'll join in with a game of darts. That board's free over there. My word, he was on form. With his very first arrow, he hit a double, just as the bloke was putting it to his lips. And I said, Charlie, you're supposed to stand on the white line. He says, the last time I did that, I got run over by a bus. I said, look, out there, you fool, in here. Well, just then, the bloke came up that was running the club, the steward. And he came over to us and he said, would we leave? Well, he didn't exactly say, would we leave? He only used 2 words. I says to Harry, we're having nothing to do with that lift. We'll go down the stairs. It won't take long. It didn't. We only used the bottom one. And we seemed all right as long as we were still in the club. It was when we got into the street that it started. Because every chap here tonight will vouch for this. It is not the stuff you drink that does the damage. It's the fresh air. And believe me, that street was full of it. I felt like writing to the council. Within a minute, Harry's lying flat on his stomach on the pavement, his fingers gripped tightly over the edge of the curb. He looked up at me, he says, get a ladder quick, I can't hang on much longer. Well, Charlie went to help him. All he did was turn Harry round so's his toes was over the curb. You know, I thought, well, you can't leave the bloke hanging upside down. The blood will rush to his head, so I go and get Harry all right, look round for Charlie. There he is. He's climbed up one of them Belisha poles and he's trying to light his fag off the thing at the top. I said, you damn fool, they don't stay on long enough, so... Get him, look round, and there's Harry hanging round a lamppost, knocking on it like mad. I says, what are you knocking on there for, Harry? He says, I know there's somebody and there's a light on upstairs. Well, I said, come on, I said, we'd better get to the Goat and Compasses, you know, our usual. I said, it's not fair on the landlord there. We've already deprived him of over an hour's income. Well, we get in there, and we're just having a little bit of difficulty with Charlie because he kept trying to make a hot dog out of 2 beer mats and his thumb. And I was looking for some mustard for him when in comes Charlie's cousin, Fred Thornton. Now, when I say Charlie's cousin Fred Taunton, they're not related through blood, but through light ale. And Fred comes up, ever so busy, goes to the bar, orders himself a drink, hardly spoke to us. I said, what are you doing with a carrier bag, Fred? He says, carrier bag? Oh, you mean me briefcase? I said, oh, the co-op make them do the in plastic. Well, I said, what you got that for? He said, well, all my papers in there. I'm just off to the meeting. They've asked me again. I said, who? The light company, the police? He said, no, for the pub outing. Do you know, the blood drained into my left sock. I said, just a minute, Fred. Tell me straight, what pub outing? He says, to Blackpool Illuminations. He said, I'm organising it again. I said, after last year? After that fiasco? He said, he said, how dare you? He said, who organised Charlie O'Lindale's wedding reception? I said, you did, Fred. You certainly did. I said, no, right. He says, just a minute. There was more than enough food. I said, there was. You're quite right, Fred. There was more than enough food. It was just a bit hard lines on them who didn't happen to like tip of fish paste sandwiches. He said, and didn't I have ladies standing there in black and white dishing out free sherry when you came in from the service? I said, you did. Shall I tell you what the bride's uncle did? He says, oh, my glass, Tom. He got his lighter out, took the screw out the bottom, filled it with the sherry, put the screw back, flicked it. He said, it's never worked as well before. Did I tell you about last year's outing? Oh, well, if you've just got a few minutes, I'll tell you this. They'd asked Fred to arrange it because he was one of the few people with a bow tie. And I had my doubts when the notice first went up in the pub, but we all put our names down, let's face it, here's a mate. And he'd asked us all to be outside the Lamb and Flag, because they've a bigger car park, for the coach on the Friday morning, 8 o'clock. Well, 8 o'clock, we're all standing there, and Fred had one good idea. He said, to save keep stopping, bring a packed lunch. Well, some brought half-pint cans. Some had it in bottles, you know. And we're all standing there, and some's a bit quiet, you know, because they haven't been up as early for years, them on social security. And, well, they were the only ones who could afford to go. And we're standing there, and this 60-foot coach lurches round the corner with a terrible grating noise and gets to a halt. And the driver jumps out. He said, my word, I'm going to tell the firm about this. He said, the steering's terrible on this coach. And he says to him, might it be better and easier for you if you had a tyre on the near side front wheel? The bloke says, that'll be what that bang was about a mile back. He said, and the smoke coming up. So I said, well, you've got a spare wheel in the boot? He says, yes, I have. I said, well, put it on. He said, there's not much point. I said, why? He said, there ain't a tyre on that either. So we wait about half an hour till the firm come and put him another wheel on. We all get in the coach, and the driver turns round. He says, before we go any further, does anybody know where Blackpool is? So Harry, who knows the country like the back of his hand, he said, well, it's a good job for you I'm here, isn't it? It's somewhere near the sea, I think. So the driver sets off. I said, all you have to do is, once we get to the main road, there'll be signs. Oh, that's no good to me, I said. I can't see them without my glasses. I said, well, why didn't you bring your glasses? He said, because it's Friday. The wife goes to bingo tonight and she needs them. I said, oh, great. So we set off. Now, I will say this for Fred. He'd arranged for us to have an evening meal at this pub, and he said, I've arranged a cabaret for all the lads. I said, have you really? He says, yes. I said, what is it? He said, I'll tell you, just on your own, don't tell the others, it's a stripper. I said, is it? He says, yes. So I polished my glasses, ready, and... well, it was a stripper, a male stripper. I am not joking. When I saw Fat Fred from the abattoir come out to the music, And I am not joking. It was unfortunate that this dear old lady at the piano happened to be playing I Who Have Nothing. Well, the bloke next to me, who I didn't know all that well, swore he'd never eat meat again. So, we get in the coach. Fred's just behind me. I got up, I went back, I said, Fred, can I just say something about the driver? He says, what? I said, well, I think it was a rather stupid idea to ask him to enter the beer drinking contest at the pub we just left. He says, give me 2 good reasons why he shouldn't have. I said, all right, I will. The first reason, he won it. And the second reason is there must be a better route to get to his driving seat than via the sunshine roof. Well, we set off eventually, and we're going up the road, and the lads are having a sing-song. One bloke had a mouth organ and all that. The driver turns round and he said, all those people who have criticised my driving and route finding, well, I've got news for them. I've got news for them, he said. I'll tell you something. I've just seen a sign. Blackpool, 3.5 miles. Of course, they all cheered, you know, and we thought, look forward to the lights. 4.5 hours later, I said, if you pull up, I said, I think we'll be able to have a curried meal. He says, how do you mean a curried meal? I said, I don't know what you thought you saw when it said Blackpool, but we're in the middle of Bradford. Fortunately, we found this smashing pub where they took coaches. I have never drunk so much in one night in my life. Never again will alcohol pass my lips. I never want to feel like I felt that following morning again. Oh, blimey, have you seen the time? Have you seen the time? Oh, I'll have to go. They'll be open. I shall be late. I don't want the lads to think I've left them for good. Ta-ra for now, folks. Bye.